Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Now I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Okay, we have two bid openings this morning. One is for a chip and seal project. That's for we're going to do first, and then we have a paving project we're going to do right after that. So I'm going to go through. Thank you for everybody who turned one in. We got a lot of options out here. Runway Incorporated.
Runway.
Runway. RUNWAY. $221,261.03. $221,261.03. Next one is from
Geauga Highway.
Yes, Geauga Highway.
Just where's that now?
Geauga
Yeah.
Highway.
Their bid is $202,662.95. $202,662.95. Brownyak Paving, RONYAK. $205,645.05. $205,645.05. Brownyak Paving. Melway Paving, MELWAY. Melway Paving, $183,819.05. $183,819.05. Okay, those are the four we had for the chip and seal. Again, Runway Incorporated, $221,261.03. Geauga Highway, $202,662.95. Ronyak Paving, $205,645.05. Melway Paving, $183,819.05. So I need a motion to send those to the engineers for review. I will make a motion that we accept the bids and send them to process.
I second that.
It would be engineers.
Engineers.
Okay.
Second.
Yep, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed. On that one. We need to end the meeting. We need to end this one.
Okay.
And then go to the next one.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we end this meeting and go to the next one.
Second the motion to adjourn this meeting.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick? Yes. We are adjourned, it's proved at 7:50. We'll start the next one as soon as I get done writing here.
Great.
All right, the next one we're doing is for the paving project bid opening. We have one, two,
I'm gonna make a motion that we open the second meeting.
Second that.
all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, we have 6. First one is Barbados Construction. That's what it said. BARBICAS. BARBICAS. $288,698 even. 288,698.00. Cardinal Asphalt. Cardinal Asphalt, 264,298 even. 264,298.00. Parent Asphalt. Parent Asphalt, 296,349.50. 296,349.50. Kingsway Services LLC. $308,699.00. 308,699.00. Kingsway Services LLC. Cargo Companies. Cargo, 265,000 even. 265,000.00. Roniak paving. Ronyyak. Roniak, 315,148. 315,14800. Okay, that is it. We had six. Barbacus Construction, 288,698.00. Cardinal Asphalt, 264, 298.00. Perrin Asphalt, 296,349.50. Kingsway Services LLC, 308,699.00. Carvo Company is $265,000 even. Roniak Paving, 315,148.00.
The motion that we accept these bids and we send them to the engineer.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
And I'll make the motion that we approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed. We're closed at 7:56.
Never say the pledge of allegiance enough, so I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we do want to thank you, Lord, for the few beautiful days you've given us, Lord, and a lot of excessive rain, maybe, but a lot of nice weather as well. We thank you for just that glorious show you put on about a week ago with that solar eclipse, Lord. The Bible says that your heavens will declare the majesty and power of God, and you certainly proved that. And Lord, today as we pray for these leaders in this meeting today, Lord, help us to remember that they're human like us, and we expect them to have all the answers and solve our problems, but they're going through their own personal griefs and trials and situations, Lord, so help us to be mindful of that as well. Have your way in this meeting, and we'll be careful to give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I truly appreciate your work. Okay. Do we have any announcements or correspondence?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I would like to have your attention here for a few minutes. And under announcements or under correspondence, I want to share with everybody that in representing Brimfield to the county, I sit on the Portage County Land Bank Board. And I've been given the annual report for 2023, and I just wanted to take a few minutes here and explain how this works. They have a mission statement, and it says the Portage County Land Bank facilitates the conversion of vacant, blighted, abandoned, and tax delinquent properties to productive use for the benefit of our community. We had a home over on Dorothy that sat vacant for, I would say, estimating maybe 20 years. And the people that owned it passed away, and the children weren't interested. And the land bank, through their process, where they came over and paid the cost of having the house removed. It's now vacant land and probably available for sale for anybody. But anyway, we've used their facility, their processes here. And in this report, you wonder where this money comes from to operate this land bank thing. It comes from outside sources of grant funding through the County Delinquent Tax Assessment and Collection Fund. And it allows the land bank to operate without cost to the county's general revenue fund. It provides a positive return on the investment funding in the form of taxable property, and is a primary focus of the land bank. And we have a lot of partners. Among those is Habitat for Humanity, Family and Community Services, Neighborhood Development Services. And I just want to let the residents here know that when we have abandoned houses that the taxes are behind, then the land bank can evaluate that and see if it would be to an advantage to rehab it, maybe buy it, rehab it, sell it, put it back on the tax map. So I just want to let you know that I go there once a month and have this meeting and find out what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other announcements? Okay.
Not today.
Meeting guests, we do not have any scheduled meetings. Minutes, I make a motion.
There's two of them.
And we review the 4/3/24 regular meeting. I need to approve it. I need a second.
I'll make that motion to approve the April 3rd, 2024 meeting.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the 4/16/24 special meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, now I'm going to make a motion that we approve the agenda. Need a second?
Second for discussion?
Are there any additions, subtractions? We're all good? Okay.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, I am going to make a motion to approve the purchase orders.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the warrants.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, well, now is going to be the time for public comment, and I'm just going to read this again to remind everyone. Public comment section of the trustee meeting is an opportunity for citizens and residents to express their views in order to inform the trustees. The trustees will not engage in dialogue with the public during this time. All speakers' remarks are to be addressed to the chair. Speakers are required to adhere to the time limit, which is 3 minutes per speaker. And how you're going to text here, keep an eye on that, thank you. The chair will not enter into back and forth exchanges with the public. Township staff will take note of comments made from the public and may make responses during their portion of the meeting or at a later date. You know, and as always, we welcome your comments and we're glad you're all here. Okay, do we have any comments? Board? How are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Good.
This is new for me.
This is my walking partner.
So
once in
walking
a while.
partner. Right, sorry.
I
I just,
walk faster.
yeah, I've been here for like, I don't know, this has been going on for like almost 2 years, and I was trying to get my development paved, and we're finally there, I think. And I just want to thank, in particular, Mike and Dave for expediting this to this point to get this done. All our residents are thrilled, so I thank you. That's all I have.
But it's not done yet.
I know that, but this is what I was looking for, so.
So then you're gonna give up your membership at Town and Rec?
No, I get that free. That's a freebie. So,
That's a great place to walk.
yeah, thanks again. All right,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Anybody else?
Hey, Holly, in the future, that doesn't work, having it in the back of who they are, because I don't want to put them in the notes.
I was, we talked, when I talked to Holly about the idea, was just to have them still state their name. But then that way they're not stating their address and all that. So the address is on the form, but and then have them state their name.
That's fine. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were, because then I guess I don't have the right information.
Okay, so we got no comments? Okay, well, now's the time we got safety concerns. Do we have any safety concerns? No. Okay. Well, let's start with the police.
Yep, thanks, Mike. Just a couple items for the board this morning. Brief update under old business. I didn't make a note there, but just a reminder, we are having our Filler Cruiser event this Saturday over at Walmart. We'll be there from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and everything we're collecting is going to benefit our Brimfield community coverage. So if you're out and about on Saturday and swing through Walmart's lot, you'll see our cruiser there. If you stop by and say hi, we'd like to see it. A couple items also under old business, just an update on new officer hire. We have extended a conditional offer employment to a second candidate who is currently enrolled in the academy. So he's going through the additional phases of the process now. So that's 2 candidates currently in the police academy that have conditional offers pending from us. So we're moving forward on that piece. Also, a brief update on our new cruiser setups. That's also happening right now. All public safety is out this week working on getting the new cruisers set up and equipped. So they'll be out on the road shortly. So that's going to finally be in our rearview mirror. Under new business, I'm just going to take a few minutes to walk through the flock safety information. You guys, as the trustees, have some information in the materials that I supplied to you. So I just want to take a few minutes to kind of walk through flock safety with you and hit some of the key points. And after I walk through this, Captain Atkins is here as well as myself. We can answer any questions you might have as the board. So what flock safety? What is flock? Flock are motion activated stationary license plate reader cameras that capture the image of a rear license plate. These units operate off of solar power with battery backup, and they're currently utilized by over 5,000 local communities and agencies around the country. They're also utilized by school systems, homeowners associations, and commercial businesses. Lowe's just came on board with Flock, and so they have a national contract. All of the Lowe's locations around the country are utilizing Flock. Our local Brimfield Lowe's store has the Flock cameras in place now as well. Flock cameras have nothing to do with traffic enforcement. They don't contain that type of technology. So if you drive by a flock camera and you're speeding, you ran the red light, it doesn't matter. It doesn't contain that kind of technology. It's not set up or it has nothing to do with traffic enforcement whatsoever. And also, law enforcement agencies have the ability to access their flock cameras, and we can create a valuable shared resource. So agencies are utilizing flock. You have a shared camera network. So if we're searching for a suspect vehicle, we can access the network from other agencies also utilizing flock to find information, because I think we all know criminals don't recognize borders on a map. So how is flock differently? How is flock different? Well, it passively captures a rear license plate image. It also captures the rear of the vehicle. So it provides a rear license plate, a color, a make or a model, a location, and the time and date that the camera was passed. So with that, when we're searching for a suspect vehicle, law enforcement can query specifically by that type of information if we're looking for a particular make or model or color. It's kind of called what they call vehicle fingerprint technology. You can kind of drill down and search for a particular type of a car, a particular make of car. So one of the key features of the flock system is it proactively alerts our officers who are out on patrol, and provides them with alerts through the mobile computers in their cars. So the things that they would come across would be, for example, any entered Amber alerts. If a vehicle passes one of those cameras, our officers out on patrol would actively receive that alert through their MDTs. Also receives silver alerts, which are missing seniors who have gone missing. The silver alerts come through. Any entered stolen cars, any entered stolen license plates, the officers receive an alert on their MDT while they're on patrol, simply by noting a car passed one of those cameras. We also have the ability to create an agency alert list. So an example of this would be if our officers respond to an assault call and the suspect has fled prior to arrival, and we conduct an investigation, we have charges pending against that individual, we can enter that into our customized alert list. So if we're looking for that particular subject, we can get an alert that person is in the community, and we can track the location utilizing the flock camera. Any serious offense like that, a stalking case, we have a stalking victim, the suspect is large, we can create a custom alert for that and get an alert that person is in the community. So as far as accountability and privacy pieces, the flock camera gathers objective information about vehicles in real time, collects no information about people. It's not tied to any personal identifiable information, doesn't detect a face, people, gender, race, etc. It's strictly just objective data at the rear license plate of a vehicle. All queries on the flock system by an authorized user are kept forever. And each query requires a documented law enforcement purpose into the system. So this provides a full audit trail. This would be very similar to our Ohio Beach law enforcement database and our current policies. Data collected is automatically purged after 30 days. So there's no maintenance of a picture of a plate for months or years. Data is never sold or shared by flock to any third party. The data is stored securely on the Amazon cloud service with end-to-end encryption. So we talk about this type of technology, how that can be a force multiplier. I think we're all well aware agencies are dealing with limited resources and staffing challenges. So a resource like this allows us to leverage technology to kind of truly be a set of eyes that works 24/7, 365, never takes a vacation day, never calls in sick. So the cost is $3,000 per camera per year. If you compare that to the cost of a single officer with salary and benefits, you're looking at a little over $100,000 right there, just for comparison purposes. Statistics generally suggest that approximately 70% of crime involves the use of a motor vehicle. And with this flock resource, you have a proven, tangible, investigative resource. It helps to solve crimes, aid investigations, as demonstrated by the case studies I provided to you, and the specific examples where access to the flock network has aided Brimfield cases specifically. So how does this technology interface with something like a doorbell camera, right? And we see these pretty commonplace. You drive through Brimfield, you go through any neighborhood, you'll see these fairly regularly. And Nick, in your neighborhood here, maybe 3 or 4 years ago in Whispering Woods, we took a report. We had a gentleman who was working in Cleveland. He got an alert through his Ring doorbell camera that he had some packages taken off of his porch. And he put an alert into the Ring notification system. If you have a doorbell camera, you might know that you can send out an alert or send a message through the Ring network. He sent that out. I'm a Ring camera user as well. I happened to be sitting at my desk at the station, and I saw the alert come over my cell phone. And he had a description of the vehicle. I jumped in my car, came out onto the Talmadge Road, ended up seeing that vehicle, ducked into a driveway, ended up getting that vehicle stopped, and recovered property from multiple victims from that. But that was an instance where we just kind of got lucky with that. I just happened to get that Ring alert as I was sitting at my desk, and we got lucky. So with something like flock, and examples I would use for this to the interface with the doorbell camera is we've had a series of instances where we may get some residents have been broken into, cars get entered in a neighborhood overnight. And the technology on your doorbell camera might see, oh, hey, that's a car, or hey, that might be a Toyota Camry, or maybe maybe I can tell that it's a white Toyota Camry, but we rarely ever are going to get a license plate off that. Well, the connection with this now is if we have something like that happen and your Ring doorbell camera picks up that, hey, I could tell that was a white Camry or a Toyota Camry or a four-door pickup truck or a Ford, we now have the ability to query through Flock to see and search specifically for white Toyota Camrys that might have passed one of those Flock cameras around that time frame. So that gives us a tangible investigative resource that we wouldn't have had previously. As far as other area agencies and communities that are utilizing Flock, there's over 5,000 agencies nationwide, over 175 agencies and communities here in Ohio. In your packet, I know there's several right here in Northeast Ohio. A couple right here in our neck of the woods, Ravenna, they just come on board recently with Flock. Talmadge also is on board, those right on our border. Kent has an implementation with Flock pending. Again, another agency that sits on our border. Streetsboro is currently utilizing them. They have them in their schools, and they're currently looking to implement them in 2025 further. Akron, Summit County Sheriff's Office, and Aurora. Those are some agencies that just kind of sit right here pretty close in our neck of the woods. So I talked about the collaborative network of Flock having the ability to access the network and query for hits on that aren't just in your community, but any agency in your community that's utilizing the cameras. We had a couple of cases in particular here in Brimfield. One was involving a stolen vehicle from our Marathon gas station on 43, where someone walked across the street from the hotels, got into that car, that stolen car, and left. And we had a second case on Talmadge Avenue with a business overnight that had a trailer taken from that. So we had access to the Flock network and we were able to tap into that. We ended up we were able to clear both of those cases by being able to access that Flock network. Even as an agency that wasn't currently utilizing Flock cameras, we had access to the network. Well, moving forward, that access is going to be taken away from agencies that aren't currently utilizing Flock with the systems of their own. So that would be a resource that we would no longer have access to. A couple of cases, and we've discussed this amongst our staff, there's a multitude of cases where having this resource would have been a valuable resource. A couple in particular that came to mind during recent discussions was the break-in to RJ's Auto Pros, where it was an overnight break-in where Ralph had a motorcycle that came in and broke in. The second one would be behind the businesses in the Cascades. We had a white pickup truck. The surveillance camera was able to tell very clearly that was a white Ford dually pickup truck. But that's all we were able to tell. But with a resource like this, we would have been able to tap into the network and say, I need to look for any white Ford F-150 pickup trucks between this time and this time, which would have provided us a tangible investigative lead to follow up on that, again, that we don't have right now. One other point I wanted to make to the board is the potential for future integration with with the field local schools as a security piece. Streetsboro currently has this in place with their school system, and I had a conversation with their school resource officer. So the situation would be something like this: if we had a dangerous type of a custody situation, or there were some threats made to school safety, having this resource, you can now imagine that the suspect may be known, and therefore our officers are on the lookout for that individual and for the vehicles associated with that suspect. If that vehicle was to drive on campus and drove by the Flock camera, in approximately 7 seconds, our school resource officer could get an alert and making them aware that that vehicle is now on the school campus. Again, if we had this type of a resource, there may be at ingress and egress points within the township. Our officers or any patrol officer in the surrounding community with the Flock camera would be alerted to that individual and potentially have an opportunity to stop that car before or whatever arrive on the school campus. So I mentioned that point because I think what Streetsboro is doing is a nice partnership with their schools, with the resource, and it's something I would be willing and able to explore with field local schools as well moving forward. So that's just kind of a 1,000-yard overview of the material I provided to you guys in your packets, and myself or Captain Atkins can answer any questions you might have.
I'd like to make a motion so that we can have discussion on it. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase order of the Flock safety system in the amount of $13,100.
If I can interrupt there, let's make it 25-1, because that was the annual, there's a $13,000 setup fee, and then there's a $12,000 maintenance fee.
Yeah, year one is just that cost you see there is just for all that's due for the first year.
So 13,000 is year one.
Oh, I guess I'm reading
And then
that.
annually it's a different price.
It's for a 24-month period, but you're paying only for the first year right now.
Okay. Do you need the whole approval?
I was just confused by the billing statement they had on here. It was year one, 13,100, annual recurring after year one, 12,000, but then they have a contract total of 25,100.
Well, I think they're just accounting for year 1 and 2 combined, but we only have to make payment for year 1 now.
Do you want a motion though that way, John, since it's the contract we're entering into?
Yeah, let's do it as a 2-year contract for 25,100.
Okay,
We could do that.
so I'll amend my motion to be a 2-year contract for $25,100.
I'll second that for discussion.
Roy, when I talked to you about this, I thought it's a great resource. One of the things you shared with me was that it's going to help reduce the amount of man hours to do these investigations potentially. It helps because now we're, instead of sorting through so many phone calls, we're able to sort through the flock system and potentially help reduce those man hours.
Yeah, and I think I alluded to that. It's really kind of an extra set of eyes that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Right.
So, and we would discuss that again. There's a multitude of cases where this would have been a valuable investigative resource. You see all the time where we may make a post, hey, we've had this theft incident, we've had this people incident, and there's a picture of a car.
Right.
And that's really all we got. Hey, I can tell that that's a blue Honda Accord. You know, we ask people, hey, if anybody knows any information, please contact the department. With this, now you have the ability to say, hey, we know there was a blue Honda Accord that was involved in that particular case we're investigating. So that allows us to go back and tap in and query, hey, we're looking for blue Honda Accords during this particular time period of this incident that we kind of now put our fingerprint on. So now we know it's not just a blue Honda Accord, but maybe we see a blue Honda Accord that came through near the time of that incident. Now it's an investigative resource. Oh, hey, we have a plate number where there's a person that's attached that week. That's an investigative resource for us to follow up on and make contact with. So it's providing something tangible beyond just, hey, I can tell that that's a blue Honda Accord.
What's the maintenance program for this system? So is there any maintenance cost for us, or are they covered for 2 years? How does that work for these cameras, the maintenance of those?
Yeah, Kat, I think they mentioned that's on
They
there. Right?
cover everything that's not done damage from a person. So if a car hits a pole and takes it out, we're responsible for replacing the camera. If the camera malfunctions, they replace their equipment. So hardware, software failures are on them. Vandalism or damage is on us.
Lightning strike.
No, we didn't talk about acts of God.
I just didn't know if
I
you
think
got
that one might be on us, but where they're gonna be posted, they're not gonna be the highest thing, so hope they don't get violated.
Okay.
I know you said that they are battery powered solar.
They're solar with the
power.
battery backup. Yeah, they're not hardwired in any type of a power source.
What's the life expectancy of that battery in there? Because I know we get some really cloudy days here in Ohio.
They're putting 2 battery packs because of that. And I
Okay.
checked with the agencies around us that are using it. Town's putting in all battery packs too. So the agencies that are using battery packs haven't had a problem, because that was our question too, is there's not a lot of sun for a quarter of the year here, but having dual battery packs is, everyone said there's no downtime from them. If we get a week full of horribly cloudy days, it might happen, but no problem from our agencies.
I've talked to Chris about it, and I know how Chris is about spending money, and he is all for this, so I think it's a good thing.
I have a couple questions based on we had how many years ago was that we had the plate reader on the one cruiser that we had? 15 years, 10 years ago?
That was early 2000s, I think.
It was wrong.
Everybody in the county had them. I think it was
Okay.
yeah.
Well, does this bring in some of those features? Because I know on that one, I guess I'm understanding it this way, when they were driving down the street, they would pick up plates that they would pull and assemble, somebody had a felony, or if it was grandma, or it would sort them so the officer knew which car was which. Then it brought up a copy of their driver's license, so you could see if it was me driving it or if it was my wife driving it.
It worked on way different technology and way worse technology. So those work on a hot list. So every day, a list would be downloaded, and it just checked the list. It didn't know what it was looking at. So we drove past the mailbox on Talmadge Road every day and told us there was a stolen car there, but all it read was 0412, which was stolen out of Florida. It couldn't tell that it wasn't even a license plate. So every day, we just saw text, 0412 matches, hey, stolen out of Florida. This is different. It's real-time capturing of the license plate. So we are actually know that they're reading the license plate and not reading the mailbox. And we can modify this list. It's even better than what you were.
Well, I'm trying to think of, if it's sitting, where's it gonna sit? Up by the expressway, right there in the middle? Is that what-
2 of them up by 76 and 2 of them obviously by Cascade.
So let's say we picked up a plate in a hotel parking lot that had he was a murderer or felon.
It's not going to pick up on anything in a parking lot.
They have to drive
It's on
by.
a public roadway.
But they
So
would
if
have
you
to
drove in
access
there and
where
you
to
saw
go.
it to get to the hotel, now does that bring an alert to you guys to go, hey, they're looking for this guy out of Texas and he's in one of our hotels?
If it's entered as a stolen or a missing or a warrant, because it doesn't actually run the plate. So when we enter information and actually check a plate, that's different. This doesn't actually use that system. It uses a database of that gets updated probably multiple times a day of stolen cars, Amber Alerts, missing persons, silver alerts. So it's still checking a database, but not actually hitting the criminal justice database, which is a security concern. That's why I can't do that.
Okay.
But yes, it would check that list. If it's a wanted murderer, yeah, it would be on the warrant list and would hit and it would tell us the car's name.
And does it give you their ID so you can see who they are?
No.
It just tells you that that plate that is attached to that person passed here. You have to do the investigative work after that.
All right, thanks.
And did you say Lowe's has the plot system now too? So would they data share too through the?
We've not
Because
had
they're
it.
kind of a private industry, so I was
They
wondering what
are,
that-
but they have,
that
but
is.
they, just like any homeowners association, any school system, any commercial business, yeah, they have the capability, it's their choice to share
Okay.
data. I can't imagine any reason why Lowe's won't share that with us. It's, if they're investigating organized retail theft, they've got information, I'm sure that they're gonna share that with us. I just don't think we've had an instance with them recently, because I only noticed them recently.
Okay.
Ryan, are you considering eventually maybe putting the two parts of town that are not covered?
I think that's just a decision point going forward. We'll look at our ROI on this going forward after 12 months or so, and we'll have success stories and things we kind of put our finger on. So I think that'll help drive future decision making.
Okay, and where will this be funded from? M&I or?
This was PD money, correct?
It's,
That's what, okay. Yeah, that was one of, it replaced one of the other. Yes, it's town agenda.
That's a great benefit.
Are we having active discussions with the school system then to maybe purchase a couple more cameras there? Or would that be on them?
Well, that would be on them. The
Okay.
ones that Streetsboro's utilizing, the schools obtained a grant for that. So
Okay.
that would be a discussion point we could have with Field Local, because there are some school security grants that are out there and available they could potentially tap into. But I think that's definitely a conversation we want to have. I think that would be a really positive collaboration.
Yeah, just hearing that benefit, I'd like to see us have that conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe help them head that
I
direction.
agree 100%.
Okay. So you have anything?
Okay, so we have a motion on the table by Nick and seconded by Mike. You guys ready for the vote?
Yes.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. It will be paid out of 2193 M&I.
So how long before installation?
There'll be a project implement. We'll have a project coordinator we'll work with them. Probably, I guess it's probably be at least 30 days minimum.
Town is just waiting for theirs to be put in right now, and they're getting like just under 20 cameras. So we kind of benefit because town is putting two right on the border, so we don't have to put them on the border. So we can see every car that goes in between 76 and the town's line going into Cascades, where that is the biggest area we need this.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
So I think 17 or 18 cameras the town is getting, so we're definitely behind them.
We have 4?
Four.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys came up with it.
That's all I have for you this morning.
And your call value is up a lot.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's hope these guys work out. Thank you, boy. Okay, fire department.
Okay, just a couple update items. The approved Chase pickup will be delivered this week on Friday. It is due to get lights, sirens, lettering, will still be to come. Unfortunately, when I made the call for the lights and sirens, they told me September, which I about fell out of my chair, so we're gonna have to play that game. They're at your place right now, right, Roy?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're behind, so we'll have to play that out, but we can still put it in service and use it as a fire prevention vehicle and move some vehicles around for now. So we'll do what we can to get it up and running as quickly as possible. Second thing, I just wanted the board to be aware that I will need to run my EMS renewal levy this November of 2024. This is a 5-year term levy. We're looking, I was working with the fiscal office, and we believe that an EMS renewal only should suffice for now. I still have to talk to the county on numbers, and with that being said, then I would come back to the board and ask for the resolutions that I would need the prosecutor to proceed to be on November. So just making you aware of what's coming for that. Again, that is no increase when we run a renewal. That's all I have.
Okay. So he needs a resolution. Not yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
Check.
Nope, just making you aware.
The next couple. Yeah, I saw your call volume, it's only up by 27, but I guess that's a good thing, so. We are, okay. Anybody need anything else? Chief? Okay, administration?
All right, old business, Cassie and I have been meeting with sign companies. We'll have our last meeting next week to talk through additional township signs, and then we'll bring the proposal before the board to decide on the signage. Weather permitting, the athletic field parking lot project is scheduled to begin around May 6th. I am requesting board approval to revise the employee handbook vacation accrual language to reflect that employees will receive, non-union employees will receive their annual vacation accrual on January 1st instead of accruing per pay period. In addition to adjust all applicable vacation banks upon approval here today. So we found that currently we only have 3 non-union employees who are accruing per pay period. All other non-union employees are issued their vacation banks on January 1st. So we want to move that to be consistent for all non-union employees. And again, with approval today, we'd work on making their vacation banks whole based on what they've used, how much they've already accrued, and how much they should have.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that motion. I talked to Holly about this. I think it's the right thing to do. Make everything consistent.
I'll second that.
So discussion on it, is that the long-term plan then too? Because I know we're doing the policy review, we're gonna stick with just a dump January 1st.
Yeah, so the reason I'm moving this one forward is because we have some inconsistencies that have come up as an issue. So I don't want to wait any longer to address this one. I want to go ahead and take care of it, get that policy in place so everybody's on the same page.
Is that standard, do you find in other governmental agencies to do a dump of time or to accrue time? My only concern is on January 1, you get a dump of time, January 2nd, you retire, resign, whatever it is, and now you pay out all that time.
Right. I will say what I have seen in public sector is most of them accrue it per pay period. I haven't done recent research, but I have been talking with a lot of local entities and just with the history of public sector. Most of them do accrue it. What I would say here is we have quite a few non-union employees that we have agreements with that they get it in a lump sum. So that those agreements are in place for the next, some of them 2 to 4 years. So if we didn't go this route and we say we want to keep with accruing per pay period, we have a number of employees that we wouldn't be able to adjust that with. So that to some extent, there would always be consistencies.
We're sunsetting those agreements though, correct?
We are. There are also a number of non-union employees who have been receiving it in a lump sum, even though the handbook says it should be accruing per pay period. So that is also a concern.
So some were given it even though they weren't supposed to.
Correct.
And where does that come from? Is that a payroll? Or how does that get entered into the system that they get those hours? Is it a department head submission, payroll submission?
I'm going to say a little bit of both. One of the things I want to do, and I've talked with fiscal office, is I want to get a new payroll system. We do a lot of paper transactions. The department head sends paper. Here's what they have. Here's what they should be. We try and reconcile where all of that should be managed through our payroll application. So we do have a gap there where we're doing a lot of things by paper, getting that information, and payroll's just putting it in.
I think my only concern is, like, I understand why you're making the suggestion. I just worry about the best practice really being the accrual and then the financial impact on the township.
Sure.
Potential financial impact. And I understand the agreement piece, but knowing that those are sunsetting too, we're like setting a standard on something that we're essentially taking along with.
For the most part, I think our unions as well, at least for police and fire, are all getting it at in a lump sum. And I'm not sure if you guys, it's first of the year or anniversary date. But we do have 2 of our unions also that do get the lump sum.
So 2 of our CBA, 2 out of 3 CBAs.
Correct. And it really, it is up to us. I mean, we have the flexibility to go either way. You know, when you're looking at your total compensation, it's a nice offering, especially when employees come in, to be able to not have to wait to accrue that time. You do see a lot of companies that provide employees with some in advance. So, you know, there's nothing that some public companies also do lump sum. So it's not unusual. And I do think this change just gives kind of one more benefit to our employees that, you know, they might not see somewhere else. So while you're absolutely right that it does have some financial impact, I do believe, I had to double check, but I do believe there's some limits to how much they can get paid out in the handbook.
That's what I was gonna ask, is there a cap too on the payout for the carryover?
Yeah, I believe it is capped. But to that extent, they'll have more of it in advance versus, you know, having to wait to approve. So, but there are some caps in.
Well, if we only have 3 employees that are being treated differently from the 3 unions that we have, I would think it'd be better to have them all in the same basket and be treated the same.
Yeah, and I would imagine then, of course, your third union is probably gonna come next negotiations and ask for it as well. It's a smaller union.
Yeah.
But you're right, the number is small. The number is small that we're talking about, but potentially by the time we get everybody on board, I mean, you're still talking about 7 employees.
So there's a total of 7 employees that are covered by this.
So the additional ones I'm talking about are union and their union contract still, but in the end, yes.
How many, I'm talking admin employees, so 3 are not being paid this way, how many are?
How many are being paid in a lump sum?
Yes,
Outside of the employment agreements?
yes, outside the CBAs.
4, 3.
So it's half and half right now?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
I think it's good, and we gotta get consistent.
Yeah.
None of these, all these different, crazy.
It's hard to manage
It is.
when you have, I mean, it happens and you've gotta have good systems to manage it, but it does get a little confusing when you have different areas doing different things.
Okay, I'm ready for vote.
I've been on the floor by Mike, Sue seconded. All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
No,
Motion passed.
Okay.
All right, new business, we have out on our social media that we are collecting new or used but not damaged Eclipse glasses to donate to Astronomers Without Borders. So we just put out there and want to remind everyone that we'll be collecting Eclipse glasses through Friday, April 26th. We have placed a box outside of our township administrative offices for easy off outside of our business hours. Just to put on the record, a lot of people say they're not sure where we're located right now. We are in the plaza next to Gimino's, across from the library as well. So our offices are located at 4125 State Route 43 in Kent, 44240, and we're in the middle of the plaza. So again, there is a box there. Again, if you're donating them, please make sure they're in good condition. If there's any type of folds or scratches, they can't use those. The glasses will be vetted for safety and authenticity and then packed and stored for future distribution. According to this organization, there's 2 solar eclipses per year. This organization seeks homes for the glasses. They collected millions of glasses in 2017 from that eclipse, and they ended up vetting those down to about 300,000 that were actually in good usable condition, and they distributed all of those. So again, anyone that has glasses, please feel free to stop by and drop them off in our box. Next item, we received a notice of forfeiture of land for 1988 Old Forge. The county foreclosed on the land. The owner hasn't done anything to remedy the delinquent taxes. The notice we received gave us 10 days to respond if we wanted to petition for the land. I did work with our attorney to ask the courts for an additional 30 days just to consider the property. So we do have 2 options in speaking with our legal counsel. The township can petition for the land directly, or we can allow it to default to the state, and then the land bank will work with the state to acquire the land, and then in the end, request that it be donated to the township. If we do go the second option, we do need to identify proposed uses of the land, which we can rely on for that requested acquisition. Our attorney already reached out to the land bank and said, hey, are you guys interested? We have some interest, and they didn't have any planned use for that space if it were to go to them, so they were fine with this type of arrangement. One of the things that we found in the area, and you do have a summary of that land, there is access to the Buckeye Trail there. So, we could potentially use it as a park or an access or, things we can all talk about here today or at a later date. Now, why we want to go with one of those options or over the other. So with option one, where we just petition for the land directly, the concern there is that we don't know what's under the ground. So we may be on the hook to remedy if there was something that need remedied. For example, let's say there's an old 80-year underground storage tank or something, and it's leaking, then we would be on the hook to handle the remediation of that. Don't anticipate that, but there's always a potential that something could be there that then we would be on the hook to pay to remedy. If it goes through the land bank and it's through a donation, there's ways to avoid having to be on the hook for something like that. So I asked the legal counsel what would be the preferred way, and their recommendation would be that we let it to default to the state and work with the land bank to get it donated then to the township.
I think it would be great just leaving it as green space.
Could also be that, yeah.
I mean, we have enough homes, so.
Well, I'm looking at this and it said it is what, 9.99 acres? Am
No,
I looking at that right? 9.99 acres. That's
1.82.
1.82. Well, I said more than an acre and a half. Okay.
So we can either vote on if we vote.
I have a question.
Okay.
So if it defaults to the state, what can the state do with it? Can they sell it to a private person to build a house on it, make profits off that? We can't do that though, correct? If we get it, I mean, being the fiscal office, there was a house on it before.
Right.
If we got that land in forfeiture, we could help reduce our cost to the citizens out there by selling a vacant piece of property to somebody. Because the county just wants their taxes paid, so if we took that, we would start paying the taxes, but then if we could sell it off, then I just wonder if that's what the state's gonna do if we don't take it.
They will turn it over to the land bank. The state will turn it over to
Will
the
the
land
land bank sell it then?
The land bank, so our attorneys already discussed with the land bank that we are interested in it, and they did not have any planned use, so they have already indicated that they would be willing to donate it to the town.
So, but if we didn't want it though, and the land bank had it, what would their process be? They're just holding it, paying the taxes on it?
They
or
would
try to
probably end
sell
up maybe potentially putting it up for sale, yeah,
They would put it.
they would sell it.
it? At any point though, would we be able to put it up for sale if we took that?
We could, so if we went with option one and we say, yep, we want it, we could go ahead and just sell it. We could also, if the land bank gets it, say, well, we don't want it, but we want to put it up for sale. The thing with the land bank is they're interested in economic development and how that land is going to draw taxation.
Well, the
So-
house would increase that on that piece of property.
Correct, yeah.
I just don't wanna take on land that we aren't gonna ever do anything for and just start paying taxes on it.
Yeah.
And we have to upkeep it and do all that. If it's gonna go that route, but if someone's eventually gonna have the ability to sell it, I'd like to have Brimfield the ability to sell it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
we don't-
probably
I-
worth
wait,
$50,000
I put this today, like, we don't necessarily have to
Yeah,
take
that's-
any action today, we do have time since we got a 30-day extension. So if we want to, if you guys want to think about it, come back to the next meeting, we can do that. If you're feeling positive on one direction, we could vote, but we do have a little more time to work with since we asked for the extension.
And I'd be curious what the land bank would allow us to do, if they'd allow us to absorb it and then turn around and sell it. Because I'm nervous about the first option, because we just don't know what's there. If we go to sell it, and they core sample it, and they're like, oh, oil's been leaking in the ground, now we're on the hook for
Well, there's probably
$100,000
there's
remediation.
probably a septic tank in the ground over there that never got crushed.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so then if we end up with $100,000 in remediation, we sell it for 50, now we're in the whole 50, right?
Sure.
So the question being is, does the land bank take on that risk and then allow us to turn around and sell it for a profit? or are they just taking on the risk so that it can be used for township use? I think that's what we need the clarification on.
I did ask our attorney, because you said we needed a stated use, and I said, well, we could just take it and then sell it. And he's like, yeah, that's, we would just tell him that that's what we're doing. So, again, we could go back to him and have a little more conversation if we're thinking, we probably could just sell it, just to confirm that they wouldn't have any concerns with it.
I'm just trying to figure out why the land bank would take on that risk of the remediation costs for us to be able to turn around and sell it for a profit, and they can turn around and sell it for a profit.
So my understanding in talking with the attorney is and I'm going to preface that, this was my understanding from discussing with him, that there are some protections there when the land bank gets it from the state. So I think that the state would, the way the attorney explained it to me is there's some good faith there. So let's say we get the land and now we find that the state is going to intervene and be part of that remediation as well. Because we're purchasing it in good faith that nothing's wrong with it. Because I said the same thing, I'm like, well, how does it going through the land bank give us any protections? And they're like, well, there's some flexibility there with the state, because if you're getting it donated to you in good faith and then you find out that I get to spend $100,000 digging up a tank that's leaked, the state's going to intervene and provide some assistance for that.
I have a question for Michael. So when land bank takes over property, they have administrative fees for all that, but we take on the demo. So when we tear a house down, we pay for the demo and put a lien on the property. I mean, what other fees would the land bank incur?
If the land bank takes it on for demo, which they did on Dorley, they take that on, we didn't pay anything.
They paid Dorley, I thought
we didn't pay any demo on it.
we paid the one on Connors Lake.
Correct.
We paid this one.
Brimfield Drive and Congress Lake, we did those.
Well, on this one, we did.
And then you guys fiscal turns it over to Brett, and then they put it on the taxes.
So there's probably a lien out there on that piece of property for our demo of that property from 10 years.
Once it goes through the court system, anything that's owed on taxes, I believe we don't owe that.
Correct.
We're going through it.
Correct.
Even if there's a lien.
Even if it's our lien, we can't get paid.
Okay, by
And if
ourselves.
we had to pay for the demo, to tear the place down, so we probably have more invested in that property than anybody does.
If that was part of the money owed on the
Okay, thank you. So we just.
So, yeah, what would you, let me know what you'd like to do, if there's more
Did
information.
you just go back and get some more of that information?
Yes, so what specifically would you like me to follow up on?
What the next concerns were?
Yeah, so I think just specifically, let's have that conversation with the land bank about our ability to acquire from them and turn around and use it potentially. And then, since Sean brought up the lien piece, can we just verify the lien status on that and how that would pay out if there is a lien status from our demo work?
It is I did ask that question, is just as Mike said, we would not be responsible to pay any of the back.
So does all that lien go, so if we absorb the property, that lien goes away?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll ask the question just to verify since we did the demolition, but I don't know. I know he said that we would not be on the hook for the payments, but I don't know how we would recoup any funds that we paid for.
That's fine.
I'm just looking at how do we, you know what I mean, because if the state turns around and sells it, or the land bank sells it, then we're recouping that lien
Yeah.
money, is kind of that question.
Well, I'm thinking not just this property, but future properties. The one on Congress Lake, it's sitting right there. I mean, what do we do with all these down the road? Does this become another revenue source for us after they do that, so we can help Craig with the levy, so we don't have to increase? I mean, I'm just using that as an example, but, because we've got, there's 4 or 5 of them out there that, there's one on 43 that we took down years ago, that dolphin pool that's sitting right next to where Sheets is. I'm sure that's gonna be a commercial building one day, and it's just sitting there. I don't know who owns that right now. I just think it's what the county would, because we took it over and we tore down the pool store. That was probably 10 years ago, but that's on the property right next door to Sheets going north on 43.
Right.
Which is probably more valuable now than it was 10 years ago, so. I mean, I'd much rather us get that money than have it go to the state or whoever, and it could help us locally here, so. Okay, that's all I have.
for me.
Mike?
Thanks. So our permit fees to date are $17,390.60. No old business, new business updates. I need to have the trustees set a public hearing for text amendments prior to May 10th, 2024. This is for several changes to the IC zoning district. One is adding research and development to the use groups that's not in there now. This was at a request of one of the developers. Went through regional planning and zoning commission, as well as in doing that and researching into that code, there's some language in there that contradicts other language throughout the code, and it really doesn't make sense. But at any rate, I need a public hearing set prior to May 10th.
Okay, so what, do you have a date in mind?
I mean, I think you're only gonna need 15 minutes. There was one individual that showed up to the last meeting, just some confusion on it. We explained that now, and I didn't see anybody else coming for that, so I would assume.
So you want to set it at the next meeting or for the next meeting? Is that
Maybe
okay?
April 1st would be the next meeting.
Next meeting is May 1st.
Or May 1st.
Yeah, and we also have that special meeting on the 26th if you wanted to add it there, either way.
How much advertising time do you need, Mike?
10 days.
We won't have enough time.
May 1st would be.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'd have to be the May 1st.
May 1st.
Yeah, because the 26th would put this at 9 days, so there's going to be requirements.
So the one on the, what's the one on the 26th, the special meeting?
That's the NOPEC grant.
That's right, okay, that's right.
What time?
So the 1st of May,
Yeah, I remember that.
what's we just want to do it before the regular trustee meeting?
That's our nighttime meeting, right?
No, that's the first, no, that's the first meeting of the month, so that's the morning one. It's the next one, the nighttime one. So 7:45 or 7:30?
That works.
What do you guys want?
7:45? Okay, I'll make a motion for the hearing for,
Section 1104 of residential standards in integrated.
It's gonna be text amendments.
text
Text
amendments.
amendments.
I need a second.
I'll second that.
And we're doing it at 7:45.
7:45. May 1st.
Gotcha.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So as I've been sitting on the Portage County Subdivision Regulation Board, we're finalizing the new updates for those regulations. They should be coming forward this summer. East Manufacturing is moving into 4242 Carp Industrial Parkway. They'll be using this for part sales and distribution. Woolen Engineering completed the conceptual drawings for the temporary vendor park as requested by the trustees, and zoning commission is reviewing where they're going to be able to put that within the code, whether that's a park district or town center or wherever. You'll eventually see those once we have an approval that it's an allowable use within the code. And then I'll need a request board approval to accept the resignation of zoning commission board alternate Clyde Pearson. I'd like to thank Clyde for his time on the board, and I'll need that.
I'll make that motion. I appreciate it. Glad helping out.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And at the last zoning commission meeting, the zoning commission board requested the board of trustees to approve sending letters of appreciation to former zoning commission members Clyde Pearson, Ron Jones, William Kramer, Seth Halen, and Patrick Blair.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And then have Holly develop a letter for me.
We should see a lot of ground moving soon.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of things. I don't know. You should have
Yeah, I
my
saw
full
that.
list. Yeah, there's quite a bit going on. Sheets just dropped off their final drawings. I'm gonna get fire department their copy as well. And, so far it looks good. So,
Great job.
thanks.
Will you be posting the zoning commission alternate position then?
Yes, I'll have extra copies.
Do we know what the posting dates on that will be? Because I know that'll be a question.
It's up to you. We can post it today and run it for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And Jenny's gonna do that, or is that how we're gonna?
Holly will do that.
Are you posting?
Well, thanks, Mike. When is Duncan started?
I've got a call, yesterday from them, so they're gonna be starting pretty soon. They had to make some revisions. I'm on my second plan review round. I had several comments on the first one, just making sure that it conformed to the code. Some of their setbacks were off, so as they adjust their drawings, they'll be submitted to.
I'm looking forward to that, so I get the coffee before I go to the votes.
Yeah.
Are they gonna be doing that, like they do a lot of the Dunkin', just a right in, right out, where there's no like left turn onto 18, or are they gonna allow the left turn out of there?
That's up to the county engineer. I think they were trying to get a left turn, but I don't know if the county's gonna approve that on 18.
Okay.
It's probably gonna be right in, right out.
So is it sort of like between those two homes?
It's at 152, yeah, right behind the Arab. And, yeah, they need some screening things, because there's still residents there, even though it's not a residential use, there's some sections of the code that protect it, they need like 75% opacity going down. So-
Mike, is that gonna connect to the Panera Bread?
No.
Because
It's a
isn't
separate
there like
parcel.
a dead end that goes right back there where their drive-through is?
There's another one, there is a section back there, this is a little bit further from that.
I just didn't know that might even be an easier way for them to get out and go up to the light then and,
Yeah,
okay.
no, it looked like a good drawing, it's, yeah, he's just gotta tweak some things.
Now, would that be owned by a corporate, or is that,
I don't know that, I've just been dealing with their engineering and architecture, I don't know if it's gonna be, once I get a formal submittal, I'll know, like.
any guess on how many people it will hire?
No, they didn't tell me the number of people yet. I don't think there's gonna be too many in Duncan.
No, it's another small business.
Yeah, I do have, there's gonna be, Drug Mart's got close to 100, I know that it came out, as far as employee wise, and we looked at drawings with that, it looks really nice, I think that the town center design's good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a grocery, full grocery,
Yeah, I looked at this.
deli and bakery,
I looked at the plans with Mike, and boy, it does look beautiful.
yeah, it's gonna come out very nice.
Good.
And I think they're gonna have, they're talking about dual lanes for their, pharmacy going around,
What is a small business considered? How many people?
under 500,
So we have a lot of,
all of our
we have
businesses.
so many small businesses.
The only one that will go over that threshold eventually will be Kendall Tire. They're proposing to go to 600 employees,
Yeah,
but
I just hope all these
that's
people,
through their
that-
central
I
phase.
hope all these people that say we don't support small businesses are watching this, realize how many small businesses we have.
We have, I think we have roughly 273 businesses right now.
That's great. And we brought a lot of jobs to Brimfield.
Thanks. And we're up for those 3 awards, don't forget. So I think Sue and I will be attending the Portion Development Board awards for that. That's the inclusion grant on small businesses. So we got 3 of them coming in.
Let me know about that one meeting you're talking that I should go.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Road department.
Yeah, just a couple updates real quick. The Klein Road Culvin project's moving along as well as it can with all the rain we're having. They actually have a box culvert set going across the roads. So they're moving along with the weather issues. We've had a lot of water issues with all this current rain where we're 3 to 5 inches above normal for this time of year. So we're trying to do the best we can. Mother Nature's kind of kicking our butt a little bit. We've been working on enclosing a shelter at the dog park off of Lynn Road. Just not the whole shelter, just the roof where the birds ain't sitting up there. You're sitting on a picnic table, doing their business. And I'd like to thank everybody for their bids for the projects. We had a good response on that. Starting next week, we start our 10-hour days. So we'll be here Tuesday through Friday. And then I need board's approval to go again with the 2024-2025 ODOT road salt contract. And this year, we're gonna put in for 800 ton instead of a number 1,400. I'm still working a little bit with Morton about our 400 excess from this year, so.
Maybe they won't make us buy it.
Hmm?
Maybe they won't make us buy it.
We're gonna end up doing something with it. We'll probably end up buying and have to pay a storage.
Because you don't have any room right now, right?
Yeah. Unless I wanna fight with the EPA.
I mean, put it outside.
I can fill the building up as far as I can and then cover it. The EPA don't come by.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the 2024-2025 ODOT road salt contract for 800 tons. I need a second.
Second, Dave, what are the prices this year compared to last year?
The prices, we won't know until all the bids go in.
Okay.
So that's one of them where they get everybody's numbers, and then ODOT goes to the company and they negotiate it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we don't have winter anymore.
Watch, this year I cut in half and I'm gonna get hammered.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
There's a paper I gave John, okay. There's two signatures, it's gotta go on, there's a first page and a second page. Sorry, I didn't tell you, John. 'Cause we gotta turn all that in to get with our,
Can you just copy that bill?
I'll give it back to Kirsty and get it all taken care of. And that concludes my report.
Yeah, I had two hikers say that the trail over there at Cranberry Creek is wet.
So's my road, so's my ditches,
Go mop it up.
so's that poor guy down on Sherman
I
Road.
just got to the bottom. Of course it's wet.
I'll get right on it.
So. No, they liked it. They just said it's wet. They wore their markers, so it's okay. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Park and Rec.
Hey, good morning. I want to thank Dave for all his help getting the parks ready for spring with the pavilions and the athletic fields and installing the new chair rack in the closet here. Notice the ugly chair rack is gone. Thank you very much. So thank you for that. Yes. Past programs, I just have updates for you guys today. On April 9th, we had our spring hike at McGuire Park at 3 p.m. That was our interns program. It went very well. And then on the 11th, we had another edition of our scrapbooking program at the library. We've been getting pretty consistent attendance for that, about 4 to 5 people in each program. So we're building up that program, which is nice to see. Updates. I have been working with OTARMA to revise our parks policies and do some risk management assessments in our parks. And with that will eventually come some new park signage and maintenance plans just to reduce our risk and liability. One of the items that was the impetus for that is that I had a coach request to use the baseball and soccer fields here at Lions Park simultaneously. That is something that I have not done in the past due to, I didn't feel that it was safe. But I consulted OTARMA on that and they gave me their official stance on it, which they agreed that we should not conduct that practice due to the proximity of the fields to each other. Because if you have baseball and soccer going on at the same time, the ball can fly out and hit someone or, soccer ball can go that way.
What do they feel about the Brimfield Athletic Association field? There's 4 of them right there that all play in the same proximity.
That is not my jurisdiction. But then their other recommendation that they brought up was the walking track also should probably not be utilized during games. So I'm working with them to go over policies and get some verbiage on how they would like that worded and to put up some signage.
Walk at your own risk.
That's how we're going to, they're going to recommend exactly how they want me to word that, but.
Because that's probably when it gets used the most.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah, let's see, because is it just games, but then when practices happen, people shouldn't be on that walking track?
it's their opinion that no, they should not be. However, it's also their opinion that you can't really stop people. So I guess it's just our responsibility to let them know that there is a risk in
Well, we
doing
could have
so.
a cops station down there.
We could.
Well, I was just trying to figure out how we used to play
Yeah, I
with
gotta
two
punch that
back-to-back baseball fields too, because there used to be a baseball field in that back corner, and we would play that back-to-back.
Yeah,
Well, them fields though, the one was for older kids and one was for younger kids at the time. When they had the back-to-back field.
Right?
So the thing was, is a lot of times is, the backfield was there, actually the little kid's other field was down in the, right by the basketball court. So they weren't really back-to-back, they were kind of angled out to the center. Because when we built the new field, that's when we closed the back one and the little one.
We used to pelt people, Chick, you remember on the F field, hitting down to the 2C and H field. You have to stop the game in the middle of the game because somebody just hit a ball down there. The good old. Yeah.
and they did, I don't know if you saw it in your, I don't know if it's in your packet, but they did provide a diagram of the area too, just to kind of illustrate that. Oh yeah, you have it there. The last page there has their measurements and their opinion. So,
So, and those measurements are based on field
um,
use size, right?
yes.
So different ages using the field affects that, we're just assuming maximum field use.
That's a
Yeah.
major league home run. I mean, that's a long way.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it, going, that's big. Who rented the field? Was it a Brimfield Athletic Association that has the?
Well, it's only set
baseball
up for
fields?
G, which are
These-
12 and 13.
Yeah,
Yeah, remember we had movable mounds out there because they could play the different.
Well, you could do the H. H could play there, which is the 8, 9, and 10-year-old. Yeah, but that's a major league home run, 300 feet, 398.
Well, my grandson at 13 said them 250. I mean, just to be honest.
Well, but he's not playing there. He's not allowed to play on that field.
Well, that field, you can play 13 up to that age.
Not as G only.
Now, we have pegs all the way to 90 feet.
So are we playing the higher level Brimfield leagues there, or is it an outside community utilizing that field?
it's Field Youth Soccer and Brimfield Athletic Association, and also travel ball softball teams. Where the issue really lies is that our fields are first come, first serve. So I don't really have any, I don't know who's coming to play if they don't have a reservation. So I reserve, if baseball wants to come play, I reserve the baseball and soccer fields and vice versa. But if someone were to come in and just say, hey, can we play soccer here? And they say yes, then I'm not there to police that. So therein lies the risk.
Right, I guess my question is currently, who reserved the baseball field or the soccer field?
Brimfield Athletic Association has it reserved.
Okay, so it's for a Brimfield athletic team.
Yes.
A travel team, right?
It's actually, I think there's a travel team and a
Because the
athletic
concern
association.
is, we had, because I just heard this through the grapevine, is that we had this talk that we were gonna allow baseball to run it first in the springtime, soccer to run it first in the fall time. And then we were gonna give priority to home baseball, home soccer, and then outside entities.
Yeah.
The question is there an outside entity reserving it right now, and it wasn't given to our local kids to play on first?
Yeah, it's all Brimfield teams playing there. Yeah, so we'll just be going over those policies, our rental forms, waiver forms, all of that stuff, our website, and just making sure that all that information is available to everybody. And then next item, we are accepting applications for the 2024 NOPEC Community Sponsorship Grant, and those applications will be due Thursday, April 25th by 3 p.m. We've been advertising that on social media and our website.
Everybody got any interest?
I have not yet. Hannah, Holly, and I have been assisting the police department with safety school registration this year. We've also been helping Rochelle come up with some craft ideas and just get that program going. So that's been fun. And upcoming programs and events. Today we have our bat chat with EnviroScience at the library at 4 p.m. This Sunday we have a plant and craft swap here at the community center from 1 to 3 p.m. On the 26th, we have birding for seniors at 10 a.m. at Lions Park. And then on April 30th, we have two programs. We have Spring Blooms for kids at 10 a.m. and Spring Blooms for tots at 2 p.m. They're essentially the same program, adjusted for different age groups. We did that last month and it went really well. We had really good attendance. And then on the 11th, we have the Sioux Field Spring Cleanup event from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
Pretty quick, I'm just continuing to work with vendors to review options for our new meeting room in regards to the sound and live, AV live streaming equipment. If you remember from months ago, I talked to you a couple about some options, but I was looking at for cameras and just seeing, if we were on board with putting in a better live streaming option. And then the first vendor I worked with was called Sweetwater on some local sound. Now I'm, continuing to do due diligence. I'm working with Woodsy's Music in Kent. One of the advantages of Woodsy's Music is because they are local, they also offer professional installation services. So not only would they recommend a solution, but they would work with me to help install it. So I'm just getting some preliminary ideas from them. And then I haven't yet received a formal quote from them, but, want to make sure that I've gotten everything covered and get quotes from multiple vendors and, see what's out there and make sure we get a good, sound system in there.
Are you gonna look into, just so we don't have like the kind of noise in this room?
Well, Woody Nolan architecture, the acoustics of the room is part of its design. With the curtains and the way the ceiling is designed, the meeting room is designed to be acoustically sound. So we should not have an echoing problem. And then working with Woodsy's, they actually put out some things that I overlooked when I was getting the quote with Sweetwater. So I'm going to go back to Sweetwater and add, some additional things. And one of the things that I did not look at was we were focusing on the audience getting sound, putting mics at the front and then putting speakers out for the audience. But we need to make sure that you guys can hear the audience. So there's going to be speakers facing out, but there's also going to be a speaker. I'm going to look into having speakers facing back towards you guys. And one of the reasons that it's important to do this now is, of course, most of the walls in the meeting room are brick and concrete and hard surfaces. So I need to catch things like that now so I can get back to construction and say, hey, I now need to have these additional things added. And even if we don't choose to elect to put speakers facing you guys, I want to make sure that we at least have the provisions to run those wires later. So I've already contacted Woody Nolan, our architect, and say, hey, let's add an adjustment, let's add additional wiring, so that way we have the ability to put speakers facing, you guys.
The Sweetwater's, that's a musical store.
Yes.
And they are great.
Yeah, Sweetwater's a very good company. I've worked with them before on some stuff. Woodsy's is actually working with Field local schools right now. That's why I realized they have installation. Field's putting a lot of money into their drama program, and they're in the process of installing a whole new sound system in their gym. And that's all being done by Woodsy's. So yes, they are really good. I've worked with them for many, many years. And they are, very excited to work with us too. So
I'm just glad to see you're using Sweetwater.
yes, I like them, but again, Woodsy's has a little bit of advantage because being local, they also have the installation side. So not only can they make sure that the system works, but then they can install it and support it going forward.
Right.
So that does, in my eyes, gives them a little bit of an advantage if we elect to go that route, that they would be able to help us maintain the system and make sure it stays sounding great.
You're good. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure we're going to have a very nice meeting room. I want to make sure it sounds just as good as it looks.
Wish you were here when we did this.
I give credit to my predecessor. I'm sure he did the best he could in the downtime, and it was supposed to be a very temporary solution that stayed a little bit longer.
Yeah, a lot of reverb in this room.
Yes. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. Okay. Cemetery.
Okay, well, what we have in the cemetery is, after this meeting today, we're having a committee meeting for the cemetery. That's where we talk about the issues that's going on over there, since nobody over there talks to us anymore. We have to look out for them. And that'll be at 10 o'clock this morning. Under new business, the cemetery land purchase, the new 5 acres addition. I need a motion to not exceed $126,214.18, so that we can pay for that 5 acres.
I think you're making the motion.
I'm making the motion.
We have to do it under the
Wait for
ARPA paperwork here, so I can, if you want to make the motion, I will read.
I'll second it.
Well, let me read it first. And also, Sabrina's supposed to be here between 9:15 and 9:30. She has the paperwork for us to sign off on, and then we'll be done.
We
for the
worked
close.
very hard on this. It's taken this a lot longer time than what I thought it would, but
Yeah.
I'm really thankful and pleased that we're able to have that opportunity to expand over there.
All right, let me read this here first. Whereas the date April 17, 2024, trustee Sue Fields moved to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the township has received a distribution of monies, ARPA funds from the American Rescue Plan of 2021. Whereas Congress passed the act effective March 11, 2021, and where Section 603 created the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which among other things appropriated monies to cities, non-entitled units of local government, and counties to mitigate the fiscal efforts stemming from the public health emergency with respect to the coronavirus 2019. Then, now therefore it is hereby resolved that the township elects to use the standard allowance of its presumption of revenue loss due to the public health emergency and to use the amount authorized here within to fund government services. The project is hereby authorized and shall be paid from the ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $126,214.18. The project described herein serves the objectives of the act by providing services traditionally provided by a government, namely, and there's a whole list, general government administration, administrative facilities, and then cemetery land acquisition. According to the project, it's in the best interest of the township and is deemed a priority for the community. No obligations paid under this authority of the resolution were to be incurred prior to March 3rd of 2021. Now I need a second. Trustee Kostensky. Second the motion, and thereupon the votes in favor of this resolution recorded. I need all those in favor. Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
So the motion is going to be adopted on April 17th, 2024. So we will, and as soon as Sabrina gets here, we just have closing documents that we have. We have, did Kristen give you the check, or was it still in the office over there? We have the check payable out of the ARPA money.
I saw it in the stack.
I just think that got brought over. We have until the end of 24 to expend all of our expenditures, or we lose them to the county.
What's the fund balance?
It can't be more than $60,000.
Can you get us just the exact number on it?
Yeah. Because part of it was the parking lot project. I don't know if that number got updated after the bids came in. The soccer field project. So I'll update it. Actually, Kirsten, if you're listening, can you send me a balance? She'll send it to me. So that's all I have. So just an FYI on that as well, we have some local construction companies, because we have a big area that needs filled over there, that are begging to get rid of clean fill dirt, and they're not going to charge us anything. So we might just start the process of filling that hole over there.
What's going to be the checks and balances on that, just to make sure we're actually getting clean filter?
Well, we're
so
only
that we don't
gonna-
end up with, you know what I mean? Because there's a chance you run up with construction.
Well, it's only by recommendation that we send them over there. So there's one for certain, Hellman Construction, which is offered to do that. And then I believe the guy over at Clayton's land, I think somebody told me that he was looking to get rid of all that dirt over there as well, and doesn't have a place to dump it. So,
And hold on.
yeah, they're taking that whole mound out there. So, we don't have any arrangement set up with them, but we'll have an arrangement set up with them, what the rules are, what they're allowed to dump, but it's not gonna be open to the public. It's just gonna be they have to have authorization to dump.
Dave, once they dump that, do we need to compact that at different
Well, that was
levels?
gonna be one of my,
Because that's, you know what I mean, if you put it, you get too deep, you're not gonna be able to get a subcompact.
Well,
You're not gonna meet those tests.
what was gonna be offered out there in Helming as well is that, hey, you have to bring a bulldozer over and compact and do all that as you keep dumping. So, we won't allow them to dump until they agree to that, so.
Are they gonna do that for all the dirt that comes in then? Because, you know,
Yes.
I know,
They
they're
got
dumping
all
their
kinds of
dirt. But if somebody else brings it in, is that gonna be an issue for them? Because now they're moving additional dirt that wasn't theirs.
No, I don't believe so.
I'm sure Dave's gonna be well aware of what's going on, so.
I just wanna make sure that,
Sure.
well, not just like dump dirt, it's
I know you wanna make sure.
The land will have even set before you can use it probably for so many years after the conclusion.
That's about a third of that cemetery property, so that's gonna be off, for 10 years. We're not even gonna use that, but there is another 3 acres, 3.5 acres that's ready to be plotted, and actually, we have that already being taken care of. So we should be able to use that soon, I would hope. We have to figure out what else we're gonna do over there, but yeah, we can at least
So you
start.
have to have a plot and all that.
Yeah, but that's being already looked into. We just have to clear some stuff over there. I know there was issues with the cemetery building and what we were gonna do, if we were gonna tear that down and move it somewhere else, because it's right in the path of where we wanted to add the second part of the cemetery, so.
How much longer it'll fall now?
Yeah, it's getting pretty rough over there, so.
That was Chick's Clubhouse.
It's not too bad.
Well, but it is right in the path of where we wanna, that's gonna be and hopefully one day there'll be, the Redwood Apartments can go right through the cemetery, can connect to the whole, town center concept. They can just walk through there. They want to do that.
Halloween walk.
Right. Kirsten says we have 105, 495, 63, not including the parking lot, so. What was the bid on the parking lot? 60? You remember?
I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I'll pull it up here.
We're getting the patio built there,
I don't know. We haven't decided what we do with the rest of it.
but we need to figure it out. How much was the patio for here to finish this thing off?
I don't think we got a quote on that yet.
Should probably look at the quotes.
I wasn't sure if we were moving forward
We
with that.
gotta use that money. Last thing I wanna give it to is the county.
Well, we want to be included in that because I believe, and Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're all allowed people who spent all their money are allowed to then go after coronavirus money that
Yeah, so there'll be,
wasn't spent.
once we hit the end of 24, the county will recuperate what wasn't spent, and then they'll put that in a pot to be redistributed to those who used it. I don't know if it's gonna be a bid process or they're just gonna evenly disperse it. Either way, we're gonna have to watch that closely, because if we can zero out our accounts, then that gets us that eligibility.
Well,
So the
since
parking lot,
we're talking cemetery, I would like to give some consideration to order a second columbarium
Okay.
as a
How
thought.
we doing with the one over there?
Moving on.
so the parking lot is 108,979.
There it all goes right there. We owe $3,000.
I didn't think it was.
I thought that's maybe what we were guessing. So we have 105, 495, so.
Is that,
It's all gone.
so that was, when Kirsten pulled those numbers, that was the actual expenditures, or was that?
That was how much we had left,
Okay.
not including the parking lot. So parking lot's 108, so
Good.
there it all goes. So we owe $3,000 additional, and then we'll be spending. So, yeah, it was a nice amount of money. We did get a lot done. We got a lot of painting done. We got acquisition of land, library, purchase of that building, which was nice. We didn't even have to take a loan out or anything.
We got the building and construction and,
Right?
yeah.
It was a good day. Good
Yep.
day. It was great.
All right, well, thank you for that. Here I need all of you to sign this too. That page.
John, did you have anything from the fiscal office?
We're still under audit, so I don't really have much to.
We had board approval.
Oh, I do have other stuff for the jet stuff, sorry. Well, actually, it's for the TIF council that we need, where Craig is actually going to pass a motion that Craig is going to resign from the TIF council. And then the second one is we're going to want to approve Holly to be his replacement. That's
I'm
it.
gonna make a motion that we approve Craig's removal from the tax incentive review council.
Well, we'll call it resignation.
His resignation. Yeah, his resignation from the committee.
Get a second.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike? Yes. Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And I'm gonna make a motion that we appoint Holly Woods, a business manager, to the tax incentive review council to fill the vacancy created by Chief Malali. Chief Malali's resignation from the committee.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, and now we have the.
Did we originally make a motion to accept the agenda?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Now we have the executive session. We have, anything coming?
Yes, we did.
You want to read it?
Yep. State 417, trustee Mike Kostensky, can you make a motion?
Yeah.
Move to convene to executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G, for the purpose of considering the following matters. Compensation of a public employee or official. Then, I need a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. We're adjourned at 9:26 to executive session.
So you want to take 5 minutes? All right, we're back.
So as a result, we have one motion that needs to be made.
I'm gonna make that motion.
Move to accept non-union admin and PD pay increases effective April 1st, effective retro to May, April 1st.
I'll second that.
Accept the non-union. All those in favor, Mike? Yes. Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. Holly's gonna write letters to them explaining increased stuff. So. Okay. Now Sabrina's here to do the closing paperwork for the cemetery land.
Do we need to be on the floor for this, John, or can we just make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, we already said we're gonna sign them, yeah, so we can adjourn.
So I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Yes. Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. We are officially adjourned at 9:46 a.m.
Have a good day.
See ya.